How are you? You're great, wonderful. I'm loving you this morning, each and every one of you. I bless you. Thank you. And I appreciate you for being here. I've been around here a long time. I know how it is when the cat's away. But to those of you who are here, I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you. I think it's appropriate for us to take a moment to send a prayer blessing to our pastor and the majority of our ministerial team who are at this very hour engaged in a healing service at POT in Jamaica. Just a moment of mindfulness, sending them our blessing, absorbing their consciousness. Right. From the bulletin, you can see that our overall lesson sermon theme for the month is, some of you don't have a bulletin. Our overall theme for the month is working with the law. Last Sunday's lesson, it's the law. Work it could be seen as fundamental for this morning's lesson. So let's take a few minutes and review a little bit. Okay? You got your notes from last week? If you didn't take any, take some today. We began by distilling down the 17 entries for the word law in Fillmore's revealing word to 3 main points. You remember them? Points of practice. First, observe the law. Okay. Point 2, keep the law. And point 3, work within the law. Yeah. We said that although we speak of God's laws, plural, as though there were many of them, they are all part of the one big universal law of God called the law of cause and effect. Cause and effect means that for every effect, for every result, or for everything that exists, there is a cause. And we learn something very important. We learn that the right effect always follows its cause. You weren't here last week. Repeat after me. The right effect, always follows its cause. For humankind, we said that this great law of mind action is the foundation of all manifestation. Why? Because it operates through thoughts, words, feelings, actions, reactions. Its operation is from perception to manifestation. It works the same for all people, purple people, striped people, polka dot people. It has nothing to do with religious orientation. It has a lot to do with our understanding, our comprehension of how the law works. Our call to worship scripture today says that we should not conform to the world of effect, but be changed, be transformed. Be converted by the renewing of your mind. Why? So that you may be a discerning person, a discerning spirit. We discern here because we've been taught for so long that the will of God is that we live a healthy, happy, and prosperous. Are you living that life? Don't answer out loud. Don't leave nothing in this room but positivity. A healthier, happier more prosperous life is the road that we're on, isn't it? We are not as healthy as we could be, is that right? We're not as happy as we could be. We are not as prosperous as we could be, but we're on the road. Yeah, on the road again. You got to keep moving. You have to keep moving. Don't get to a point where you got a few dollars and you solved your headache problem and he comes home on time to think that that is the cat's meow. It's not. There's more. There's lots more. Here at this teaching temple, we discern and we believe that there is a connecting link between the outer, visible, form, tangible realm of effect, the realm that is detectable by our five senses, and the inner, invisible, unformed, intangible realm of cause. What is that connecting link? Don't got no notes and you weren't here, some excuse. We're still reviewing. Repeat after me. The connecting link is the law of mind action. That's the link. Yeah. If you call Comcast or any of those other companies and you want to be able to watch movies and stuff on demand, you have to have a hookup. Is that right? Right. And if you're not hooked up, then you can't pull in that particular, whatever that, those electronic word things that y'all were saying. You must be hooked up. And we say that you are hooked up. How, why, when, where, who? These are the questions that you need to be in a Johnny Coleman Institute study class so that you can get the answers to. We are hooked up to the invisible, intelligent mind of God that saturates every particle of matter in the universe. You are made to be hooked up to it. You are made out of its substance. There was an album that the choir made years ago, and Reverend Coleman begins it with something to the effect that she says, in the beginning, God made, anybody in here know the Bible? In the beginning, God made heaven and earth, right, and everything else, right? Her question was in this meditation, Fred, that she gave before the choir came on, what raw materials did he use? What raw material was used? I'm just asking. Did you ever think about it? Yeah. When you had a monumental thing happen in your life, how, why, when, where did it happen? Come on, somebody. I hear you mumbling, say it out loud. It happened in your mind first. It happened in your mind first, is that right? I talked to a friend recently. We've had a pretty lengthy history together. I call him my friend, counselor, whatever you want to call him. He's having some problems with reflex in his body and his digestion of food. And after we talked for about an hour, he told me everything that the medical said and blah, 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 blah. I explained to him that perhaps his anxiety over not having a better relationship with his son might be the cause of his reflex. He said, I'll think about it. But I know that he will. In our time together, Marge, he has already learned how to ward off migraines. He has been receptive. He has listened. He has learned how to go somewhere when he feels it coming on, relax, give up contact with the body, go mentally to someplace comfortable, see yourself surrounded by whatever is good to you, cotton candy, popcorn, peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, something that you would enjoy. And by doing this, he has not had, he told me, a migraine in over a year. What are we doing? We are becoming more and more comfortable with using the mechanism that we have inside of us. That mechanism is from perception to manifestation. How does it operate? It operates through thoughts, words, feelings, actions, reactions. Where do the thoughts, words, feelings, actions, and reactions come from? Oh, you're whispering now. Whether our thoughts are true or false, our body responds accurately to them. We can read in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 18, and chapter 5, verse 1, from the Lamsa translation. We do not rejoice in the things that are seen, but in the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. For we know that if our earthly house were dissolved, we still have a building made by God, a house not made by hand. That's a tough subject. That's a tough subject, isn't it? I heard a teacher tell a story about a man who went to see a counselor because his aunt that had raised him and lived with him was ill. He stayed with the counselor for some time, and the final instructions to him from the counselor was this: remember, it's all in her mind. She only thinks that she's sick. Several months later, the counselor and the man ran into each other, and the counselor says, "Oh, by the way, how is your aunt?" The man says, "It's only in her mind. She thinks she's dead." Let's not be like that. Coming to Sunday service is great. It's wonderful. I'm so glad that you are here. But may I strongly suggest that you enroll in a Johnny Coleman Institute study class where you can ask questions and join in the class discussion. It's nothing like it. Some of you come back after the semester is over, Jamie, and you say, "It changed my life." Well, I believe it because it changed my life. It changed my life. Knowing who and what I am in connection with what I have, knowing that no matter how it appears, there's something that is around me that is regenerating and is self-sustaining, is doing whatever needs to be done. I scratch myself on the rose bush out in the backyard. I don't have to be concerned about it, just wash my hands, because this body is so made that it's going to take care of itself. It's going to take care of itself. I went to Myrtle Fillmore in her letters. She writes, in and around each cell, there's a law that controls its formation and duplication. For example, kidney cells communicate with other cells like itself. She writes, nature has no rule or law for making cells older or weaker as time passes. Nature produces the new cell, and we stamp it with our old habit of thought, making them something nature never intended them to be. Whether true or false, our body responds accurately to our thoughts. In other words, what mind images, body expresses. It's the law. What law? The law of mind action. I'm not going to tell you that no more. You better write it down. Why is this so important? It's important because body, the house not made by hand, is the result of the activity of mind. Body is molded and changed by mind. Body responds to changes in mind. In a sense, what mind thinks, body thinks. And what body thinks, body becomes. We're not body containing mind. We are mind operating through a body. Now that statement right there ought to heal somebody in this house today. You are not body containing mind. You are mind operating through a body. Yeah? You must operate your mind as though you were a mathematician. Yeah? Whatever you put together in your calculations, that's what's going to come out. It's got nothing to do with what it said in the book. You can read Myrtle Fillmore all day long. You can listen to Johnny Coleman's healing meditations. You can call up the prayer ministry. Nothing takes place of the activity of your mind. Your mind, not somebody else's mind. I remember I was up against the wall one time, and I called not only the prayer ministry here, I called Unity, I called Science of Mind, I called Reverend Ike's place, I've called the Sanctified Church that was down I called everybody. Maybe you never had an experience. I had to make a decision whether to continue my daughter to be on the machines or to tell him to pull the plug. Maybe you've never had to make that kind of decision. It was very heart-wrenching because I took it personal. That's my child. Yeah, my child. I've already talked about her, the one that had to have neurosurgery in Panama. Couldn't bring her back to Walter Reed because it's a pressurized cabin. She's already had pressure in her brain. One of the things that they said is that she's not going to progress any further. Okay, wherever she is right now, we don't see that changing. And that helped me to make the decision that I had to make. I know she did not want to be at that level. Yeah. I had not changed her diaper for 49 years. I wasn't going to start changing them then. I'm just not being graphic, but the severity of the decisions that we have to make sometimes. And if all you know is what you read in a book because of the alphabets you got behind your name, I can hear Reverend Coleman saying, you're in a big fix. Because no matter how many alphabets are behind your name, in this, we are all in kindergarten. In this, we are all in preschool. In this, we're trying to discover what we learned in kindergarten. Put things back where they belong. Hold hands when you cross the street. Don't spit on somebody. We learned it in kindergarten. It's still life lessons for every day, doing business, whatever your business is. People want to know that you love them. And if they know it, if they get that inkling that you do love them, it's nothing they won't do for you. Absolutely nothing. I don't know who it is that's trying to get through an interview process right now, but you better love them. You ain't got to like them. Like and love. Not the same thing. You like the money coming in from the job. You better learn to love them. Where do we live? we live in our mind. The house we live in, the neighborhood, the store where we shop, the people we hang out with are all reflections of what is in our mind. You'll know that you have enlarged the territory of your consciousness when you start meeting new people, going to new places, doing new things. As long as the same old is the same old, you ain't doing nothing. You come back to class, you say, Reverend Boyd, it's worse now than it was before I started the class. I said, congratulations, you're working the principle. Yeah, if there's a change within, it's got to show up as a change without. Do you understand what I'm saying? Most of humanity thinks of itself in terms of its physicality only. That's just the way the world is. This place that we currently occupy is called a house of God. Is that right? I would bet you some money if I was a betting woman that the majority of us in here at this space, in this house of God, ain't got our minds on God. Your mind's on something, but it ain't God. But you're in the house of God. And some of you wait till you get here to get a blessing. You don't know that the lady next door can bless you? Just wave at her 2 or 3 times. She'll come over and pick up the paper off of your front lawn when she picks up hers. Love your way out of whatever it is that you're in. I don't know whose message this is today. It keeps interrupting me. Love your way out of whatever that you're in today. Whatever situation it might be, it came to bless you. It came to help you grow. It came to help you get to the next step in your spiritual development. That's why we are on this earth plane. It's just a school for us to learn how to keep stepping, to get higher and higher. And the ultimate goal is the man from Nazareth. What did he do? Oh, Lord. He healed people. He fed people. He turned water into wine. Yeah? Okay, now that I remind you, you're saying, yeah. Sprinkled around the globe, there are those who have absorbed principle and are practicing principle to the degree that they recognize their physical body as a vehicle of mind. That spirit soul is temporarily occupying while they're on this 3-dimensional plane of existence. Here in the Johnny Coleman Institute study classes, to illustrate this, we use a simple circle. Yeah? Divided into thirds. The top third represents our divinity, spirit, perfect, unchangeable. The second third represents soul, the laboratory of mind action. The bottom third represents body, physicality, anything detectable to our 5 senses. The second third, soul, has a 3-part structure representing the 3 phases of mind action. First, there's the conscious thinking phase of mind. Second, the unconscious feeling or memory phase of mind. And third, the Christ mind, God mind indwelling all humanity. The mind that Jesus used to turn water into wine. To divide a lunch and make it stretch till there was enough food for everyone to eat. Did you ever see Grandma go in the kitchen and do that? Okay. I got 2, 3 little witnesses in here. Our scriptural reference for today's lesson, keep your heart. Keep your heart. Keep your heart. Why must you keep your heart? No, let's continue our lesson. In Bible talk, the unconscious feeling nature, the subconscious or deeper mind action is called heart. as he thinks in his heart. Yes. Those things that proceed from the mouth come forth from the heart. Let not your heart be troubled. Today's scriptural reference, keep your heart with all diligence. Why? Because out of it, out of the self-conscious activity of your mind, flow or come the issues that you have in your life. Yeah, we all have issues. You don't want to call it an issue, that's all right. It don't matter what you call it. We're all working with something. If we're still above the ground, we're working on something. Ain't nobody in here made it to the top. But we're working on it. We're working on understanding that the biblical reference to heart has nothing to do with the physical organ that pumps blood. But it advises one to stand guard, if you will, at the doorway of consciousness. Keep your heart is the admonition. One who keeps, we talked about last week, observe the law, keep the law, work within the law. One who keeps protects. Yeah? Protect your mind. If you're in an environment where you are not in control of what's going on around you, get you some of them little buds and put in your ear and listen to the choir sing when all the craziness is going on around you. Because there's craziness everywhere. You can't get away from it. You can't move to a neighborhood where it ain't some crazy. But Scripture says it may hit 5,000 over here, 10,000 over there. Yeah, but it won't. Oh, thank you. Because I do what? Walk in the light. The beautiful light. Yeah. Let your light shine. Let it shine on the street where you live, in the neighborhood where you live, in the store that you're scared to go in because there's people hanging outside asking for money. Collect some money in your pocket so when you pass by them, you can give them something. You ain't too much higher than they are. I mean, 2 paychecks and you might be standing there with your cup. I can hear my daddy singing, if I can help somebody as I travel along this way, then my living won't be in vain. We stand here teaching because we must teach. Yeah, think of it this way. The function of the subconscious phase of mind is to reflect into the 5 sense realm. That's its function. That's what it does. That's what it's going to keep doing. This deeper activity in the subconscious is like a storehouse, like a memory bank. That's its function, to serve as a container. In memory, whatever it is that you have thought it long enough, talked about it long enough, didn't know what you was doing, way back then before you came into being a Johnny Coleman Institute student. You know how you used to hang out and talk all that stuff? It's still down in there. It didn't go anywhere. It needs cleaning out. It needs cleaning out. Its function is to play it back. And every time it plays it back, it doesn't mean that you have made a step back in consciousness. It means it's calling, saying, help me. I would like to get rid of this if you would help me. So every time it comes up to the surface, what is it saying? Help me to get out of here. That's its function, to keep bringing it. In the New Thought Christian textbook, the author says that it's like a fly that keeps coming. You fan it away, but this fly keeps coming. Maybe in your neighborhood it's a mosquito, a gnat, whatever it might be. But it keeps coming. What is it waiting for you to do? No, it don't want you to swat it. It wants you to open the door or the window and let it back out. It got in by mistake. And now it's trying to get out. You got some stuff in you by mistake. And it's trying to come out. It keeps coming up to the surface of your mind. It's trying to get out. Why don't you let it go? Why don't you open up your mind and let it go? Because whatever it was that you were holding on to 20 years ago, it don't work today. It don't work today. 20 years ago, TVs had tubes in them. And my brother was a TV repair person. And when he died, they brought all this junk to my house, so I still got this great big TV with these tubes in it. I can't do nothing with it because it's too heavy for 3 men to carry. As big as this lectern. But that was then. This is now. Now you got a TV in your hand, in your pocket. Huh? Yeah? Yeah. Pretty soon they'll have it on the inside of your glasses. They're working on it. Oh, Chester said it's already here. Progress. Progress. Should not your religious education progress with the times? Yeah. This earthly plane is a school for development. That's what you learn in Basic Truth Principles class. A school for development. Development of what? Your mind, I heard somebody say. I'm so glad you said that. The most important thing that I can leave you with today is the functionality of the subconscious or deeper function of mind. In the 70s, when I was involved in New Age, there was a book by Dr. Barbara Brown, and it related how people controlled their blood pressure by going to a certain place in mind. They got a new word for it now, mindfulness. We still might call it meditation, but you all get tripped up on that. Reverend Coleman used to say about the 12 o'clock daily inspiration lesson, don't have them meditating, they go to sleep. Teach them a lesson. Have a little quiet time, then teach them something, maybe have another little quiet time. But to meditate for 30 minutes, some of you can't stay woke through the news. And that's a bad thing, because all that's going in there, free flow. There's no filter, you know what I'm saying? So when you're watching it and you are awake, you can call it a lie if they're telling a lie. You can talk back at it. Yeah, but once you go to sleep, it's going straight in. But if you must fall asleep, put on something pleasant. Yeah? Cartoons. No, those are very violent. Put on something old, like the Golden Girls. I see you all know what it is. Yes, yes. People going through and coming up with solutions, that's what I see in that particular program. There's always a problem, and there's always a way to work it out, and they always work it out, you know, like most of them do in 30 minutes. But you won't be able to work yours out in 30 minutes. But keep in mind the functionality of this subconscious, the functionality of this soul realm, this laboratory where you work. Its function is normal and natural. You can't change its function. Think of it like this. What's the function of a bird? To fly. What's the function of a dog? What's the function of the subconscious? To store. To absorb, to store, and to play back. That's its function. You can't change that. But this earthly plane, the school for spiritual development, it has a lot of hills in it. It has a lot of valleys in it, this journey that we're on. And if anybody stands up here and tells you they're not going through nothing, don't be rude, but you ought to get your hat. Because the wrong person has been chosen. We are all going through. We are going through because of what we have absorbed. We are going through because of what we have believed for so long. Some of us are still praying to a God outside of ourselves. Yeah. In the center, in this second part of the circle, there is the conscious thinking phase of mind where you have choice. That's the only part of your mind where you have choice. Then there is the subconscious, deeper phase of mind that just collects and stores and plays back. But then there is the Christ consciousness, the Christ mind, or the super conscious phase of mind, the phase of mind that Jesus used when he fed the people, the phase of mind that he used when he turned the water into wine, the phase of mind that he used when he said, "Follow me. This is the way that you can do it." His mother said, "Come and do it now," because the people were running out of wine. And like a nice, obedient Jewish boy, he spoke to his mother quite rashly, according to the scripture. He says, "It is not yet my time." It may not yet be your time to get married. It may not yet be your time to leave the job. It may not yet be your time for that child to straighten up. I waited 50 years. I wouldn't stand up here and lie to you. There's still two of them out there that's half crazy. But one of them seems to be moving the needle toward sanity. It takes time. It takes time. It took time for me to understand that they were reflecting off of me. Oh, what'd she say? Took time for me to understand that what I was going through, my depression, my fear, my anxiety that I wouldn't be able to make it, that was reflected off on them. My craziness was affecting their craziness. And if you're living with some crazy stuff, don't you know y'all just passing it back and forth? I had to learn how to just go in a room and close the door. Don't say nothing. After a while, they come to knock on the door. "You all right?" "I'm fine." "But you didn't say nothing." Nothing to say. Now they listen. Might want to try that. Stop talking. Be still. Listen. And as you listen, you'll hear the answer that you need. And sometimes that answer is, leave it alone. Yeah. Leave it alone. I learned that, I ain't going to tell you how many years ago. It was a long time ago in Al-Anon classes. I didn't cause it. I can't cure it. I'm not the cause, and therefore I don't have the cure. So if you're living with someone who is going through their soul experience, remember, your answer will come, but it might not come in the way that you expect. Reverend Coleman told me that more than one time, because my head is hard. That's how I recognize you when you come in my classroom. Because like attracts like, is that right? She said, "E.B., your answer might not come in the way you want it to come, but don't miss your answer." And I can say thank you to her today because most of my answers have not come in the way that I thought they ought to come. The people that I was expecting and depending on to do such a thing, they never did come forth to do that, but it got done. And the doors that I needed to be open, I called everybody. They told me trying to open them, it didn't do any good, but out of the air almost. Yeah. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, and you get your needs met. That's how you got here, isn't it? Somebody told you, then somebody told them, and that's how you found a lot of things, right? So don't get upset when your road starts winding and going around the corner. That may be to get you to the place that you need to be with the right people at the right time to get the right thing done. Your answer will come, but it may not come in the way you dictate it. It may not come in the way that you think it ought to come, but your answer will come. Keep looking up. Keep thanking God for what you have, because what you have is enough. Just use it correctly. I love you, I bless you, I appreciate you, and I hope that these 2 Sundays have helped you to be able to stand on your 2 big spiritual feet.